The milling of the coarse homespun cloth, as in the old days, is repeated even today on occasion when friends gather for an old-time milling frolic to the lilt of Gaelic songs.
Hello, Kimada Hashif. Ismisha Connell Machricha di Cawasta Rewan I Crunel I Albastad Walkin Beck. I'm Connell McKinnon, Agus Sanju, Hamia Cawastan Gaelic, Hamidawa Hekish Gaiv Root Beckman, Orain Wuwai. I'm at the Gaelic College today and I'm teaching you guys a little bit about the milling tradition and milling songs here in Cape Breton. I'm seated here at Gumborth Wuwag at the milling table and I have my blanket in front of me. And a milling frolic is a form of communal labor, and it's the last step in the process of making our blankets and our clothing for the year. So traditionally, we would be milling at the end of harvest season, and it's quite a laborious process. So instead of undertaking that as a family or one person, we get everyone together and make a community go of it. The milling tradition is not only a task of labor, but it was kind of a ceilidh and a get-together and a party. Everyone had taken in their crops and kind of shutting things down, getting ready for the winter. So it was a good way to have one last blast of fun before the winter sets in. And everyone would bring their cloth that was just off the loom and we'd mill it together around the table. The process of milling, you need to wet the cloth. It's kind of loose when it comes off the loom, and we would sew it into a circle and seated around the table, we pound it wet off the milling board or the milling table, and that felts it and gets the cloth more waterproof and able to be made into blankets and clothing. And we'd make a pretty fun night out of it, and there would be matchmaking and there might be a drink or two and a fiddler might be there and a dancer in the other room. So you'd have your seat at the milling table and you'd sing a few songs and you might go into the other room and have a meal. And now that we no longer have to mill, or we're not making our own cloth as much anymore, we continue the tradition, and it's used as a way to share songs and to share language and just an intergenerational transmission in communities. So there's still milling frolics to this day in communities like Johnstown, Christmas Island, different communities around Cape Breton. And it's just a great way to get together at the end of the harvest season and have a bit of fun and have a laugh and share some songs and stories and to meet with elders and just share the language and tradition. Some of these songs share women's perspectives. In the old country, milling was quite often women's work, and when it came to the New World, you start hearing songs about hunting and sailing and things like this when the men started joining in on the milling table. One song I'll give you an example of is Mary Woodach, My Lovely Mary, and it's a song composed by Callum Gillis from Southwest Margaree, and it's a story from the Iona area of a fella that was working closely with a woman from Mabu, and she had to leave to the States, and they were kind of set to be married, but she had to leave and he kind of went through some betrayal through a friend, and they never ended up getting together, but Callum heard this story and composed a song about it. We'll try that one. I horo mo veri woodach stulich loom and gachum found smuatach me asta yesa hamochria jairach traum no a hunik me erus uvat on at der mur nach loom Hoerum boys and nuer minchin leto charug kinchach kiun. I horo mo veri woodach stulich loom and gachum found Smuatach me asta yesa hamochria jairach traum ni and down a huey in crewy cook me gul gutes me och Gade toya shin mo harshin chum shin gun bin drast the past Iaro mo veri woodach stulich loom and gachum found Smuatach me asta yesa hamochria jairach traum sound and Jewish let go verach go of my linen go ach woam skitta haum Boston rioch strika he me usnam huin I horo mo veri woodach stulich loom and gachum found smuatach me asta yesa hamo chria jairach traum Shoak of Pius Beck yen Oren. That was just a small piece of the song, but good example of the milling tradition here in Cape Breton.
For me, Malibu has always been pretty magical. You know, landscape, people, the music, the way of life. There really is something special and genuine about this place. Malibu always seems to be ready to give you its heart. Here at Bainvabu, you have a chance to be part of a movement, drawing on our roots to reimagine our future. Stand out from the crowd, invest in yourself. Live in community, learn in community. Here, you'll find a place that welcomes you, where the wisdom of the culture nourishes you. Honestly, if I try to imagine the perfect place to go to university, this is it. In Malibu, where culture lives.
Hello, Holotonya. Hi, everyone. Kiminahashiv, how are you? We'd like to welcome you to our Wednesday night Ceilidh and to Gaeliccollege, and we're here in Mackenzie Hall tonight, dry and out of the rain for now, and we're very pleased to have you all with us. We have a full house here, and a big thanks to those watching online as well. Tonight's Ceilidh, we have some fantastic musicians with us, Howie MacDonald and Brenda Stubbert, along with our duty piper here at Gaeliccollege, Cameron McNeil. And my name's Colin MacDonald. I'll be hosting and doing a little playing as well. Before we get started, I'd like to mention that the Thai and Becca, the washrooms, can be found at the back of the hall, just through the door there. And also at the back, you'll find all kinds of refreshments, tea, coffee, and other drinks there for sale. And I believe we might have a little something to eat as well, a little snack, possibly oat cakes. And if they are there, you should try one. They're the best oat cakes around. So we're going to welcome Cameron up for some tunes on the pipes to get started. And relax, enjoy yourselves, and we hope you enjoy the night. Welcome, Cameron.
Thank you. That was just a set of just dress bass and reels that are all pretty common around here, and then a couple of them were pretty common in like the western part of Scotland, like the Highlands and Islands and Hebrides in there. So most of those I learned from Angus Mackenzie, who's a piper from Cape Breton, but he lives over on the island of Skye right now. And yeah, now I think I'm just going to go into some jigs. Some of them, the first one will be written by Trevor Kellogg, and then going to a Ryan J. McNeil tune. And they're both well known for being pipers here, and especially Ryan J. for composing tunes. And then we're going to a Brian Finnegan tune called Nonetheless.
Did you enjoy that? Let's hear it for Cameron McNeil. And Cameron is a member of the Cape Breton Island Pipe Band, who just took a trip to Scotland for the World Pipe Band Championships. And they placed 3rd in their division, 4A. And you may also hear Cameron playing here, but not too much longer. He'll be with us for a little bit longer. We've been very lucky to have him all summer piping for us. And if you come here on a sunny day, you'll hear him piping out front. But rain and bagpipes don't really go well together. I'm going to share a Gaelic song with you that has kind of an interesting story behind it before we get on to some more tunes. So this song was composed by Alan MacEwen, who was a Macacran from Airasag, Scotland. And he immigrated to Cape Breton, and he settled in Glendale. You likely would have passed through Glendale, but maybe you didn't realize you did. There is a beautiful church there and some homes, but fairly rural community. And so he settled in Glendale. He was a well-known bard. He composed songs in Gaelic, and also an avid sailor. And he was sailing off the Grand Banks of Newfoundland when the summer gale of 1873 struck. And him and his crew, they were in kind of a situation there. The storm was so bad that houses were shifted off their foundations, and boats were ended up in the field. But Alan and his crew managed to make it back home. It was a Saturday night that they were fighting through the storm, and the very next day, Sunday, he had this song composed. So you might also hear it sometimes. These days you'll hear it at a milling frolic, but wasn't originally a milling song, I don't believe. So hope you enjoy. Will you so, will you, Katua min katal, will you, so, Sauner Matin, Vajadani, Gortik, me, Viekavala, will you, so, will you, Katua min katal, will you, so, Fadam big na frolic and soon, not fear, Garuska, what happened to you? Will you, so, will you, Katua min katal, will you, so, na Kachala Naika, be if tangle ounce of acting, will you, so, will you, Katua min katal, will you, so, Misha show a jira crown, a sheaf, shatarin, strown, from Fachi, will you, so, will you, Katua min katal, will you, so, nu what a heach me vrain, a heinig be, mo heiner, Reicha, hakarnil, will you, so, will you, Katua min katal, will you, so, will you, Katua min katal, will you, so, happily, thank you. So, would you like to hear some tunes on the fiddle and piano? Well, you're in for a treat. We're going to welcome up to the stage now Howie MacDonald and Brenda Stubbert.
Good evening. Good evening. Lots of rain, eh? We had to get so much rain, we had to get a boat to tow us up Kelly's Mountain. Tell them, that's the truth. Huh? Hi, Brenda. Very nice to have you here, play with your tunes and all that. We're going to start out with a little tune that Andrea Beaton composed, and it sounds like a tune that's about 200 years old, but it's not. It's a beautiful tune in E minor, and it's a march. I think it's called Howie and Janet's March. So we'll start with that. Maybe a Strasbourg that I used to hear Mike McDougall play back in probably 1980. Anyway, let's start with that. Thank you. Maybe take the piano down. Brenda's been monitoring the piano and it's too loud on the monitor.
I don't know if it is. I'm not
She doesn't know, she's not sure, so just do whatever you want to do. Anyway, speaking of Brenda, Brenda wrote a tune, one of my favorites, a couple of years ago.
You're not allowed to play it.
Okay, I'm not going to play it then. Anyway, it's nice to be here tonight, and I'm going to play Pop Goes the Weasel. Okay. No, she wrote a beautiful tune for Faye and Richard Wood, and it's in B flat and G minor. Worked that in there. And the first one is called Compliments to Sean Maguire, written by Brendan Mulvihill from Baltimore, I think, Irish fiddler. Yeah. Anyway, and you know, keep along that line for a minute or two. So let's get her done. B flat, Brenda. Thank you. That's all right. That's all good. One of the first tunes you wrote was Regina Stubbert's Cheek for your mom. And that was in the early 80s. One of the first tunes I wrote was, I think, Betty Matheson's Jake. I was about 14. Anyway. What? No. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, no, Betty Matheson's Jake is on my first record in 1984. Anyway, we'll try those two and maybe work our way up to G minor, who knows? Because I wrote a tune for yourself in G minor, Brenda. And I think it was a B flat somewhere in there. Anyway, so let's start with Regina Stubbert. See where it goes. How long have we been up here?
It's been years.
Oh, it seems like years and years and years. You don't have a fan here, do you? You're going to go to the car and get it? But wait now, you came up with me. And then there was that boat that towed us. Try one more, Brent, and then we'll... Well, I remember when I was young, I know Brenda. Well, I can only tell so much because you're so much older than I am. Okay, so it would have to start 6 years at least after I was born, which would be 6 minus, how old am I? 39. Yeah, hurry up, Brenda. We're running out of story. Anyway, we're going to play a little tune called Tweedside Lasses, and it's a tune that's new to me, but it's not a new tune. I think it's in the Glenn collection. Alexander Walker collection, that's what I meant to say. From the 1700s, 1800s? 1866, there, thank you, Paul. Anyway, I believe it was a fellow in the 1700s that got together with himself and put a bunch of tunes together, like not unlike Paul, and put a bunch of tunes together, compilations, and put out the Glenn collection and maybe the Alexander Walker collection. I'm not sure if I'm telling you the right story or not. But anyway, it's a wonderful tune called the Tweedside Lasses, and we're going to play it. Carl McKenzie recorded 1977 for Rounder Records.
You're dating yourself.
I don't date myself. I'm too hard to get along with. But sometimes, when I take myself out to supper and order myself a nice drink, sometimes I think I'm the one. Could be. Anyway, let's try the. It's gorgeous. Yeah, it looks like.
The country music while I play.
Looks the possibilities are endless, Brenda. Anyway, Tweedside Lasses. We'll try that. It's in D, man.
Oh, they're throwing numbers around now. Let's hear it for Howie and Brenda. With the weather being as it is, I thought it might be a good time to tell you this story. It's a Gaelic story, but you'll also hear it in English. And I'll share a bit of Gaelic and then translate that piece into English as we go. It's not long. So it begins like this. Uair gerosil va batachel agus van tayeka gavi hain rapach. So one time there was this old man and his house was in awfully rough shape. Agus vatel an a moachantaya, and there was a hole in the roof. The vigin tushke aun vig moachantaya a gidge in chodanas a gas. Agus vig a hulashi and bok fluke. So when it would rain, the roof would leak, and everything inside would get soaking wet. Wavasho hanek kuchikin agus gainacha yen vatach kersanach kadihu moachantaya. So one day, someone came along and they kind of snidely asked, kind of picking at the old fella, and said, "You know, when are you going to get around to fixing the roof?" And he had a comeback. He said, "Well, ha mar shao, the visin tushke aun hanoringa, agus der nach bi charik miles." So he said, "Well, it's like this. When it's raining, I can't fix the roof. And when it's not, I don't have to." And we tell that story we use it in classes as well. And that's the best reaction I got in a while, honestly. So thank you for that. Usually it's some teenagers just looking at me. Anyway, we are going to continue now and welcome back Cameron for some more tunes on the pipes.
Alright, so I'm just going to play, I think just an MSR, and I'll start with a tune called Angus McKinnon of Egg, written by Ian MacDonald, whose brothers are Dr. Angus MacDonald and Alan MacDonald, who are all very well-known pipers, composers. And then, yeah, maybe I'll end with one of my own tunes.
Let's hear it once more for Cameron McNeil. Awesome job. How's everybody doing? Are you enjoying the night? Yeah? Did you find out what the term Ceilidh means? A visit, that's right. So the original meaning, well, the meaning in Gaelic for Ceilidh is simply a visit or a gathering. And these days you might see Ceilidhs advertised like this. They're a bit more like a concert, but traditionally it's informal. Could happen in a kitchen, at a party, or a Ceilidh could just simply be a conversation with your neighbor, maybe over a cup of tea. But we hope that you're getting the Ceilidh vibe tonight, and that you feel comfortable, and hopefully get a chance to chat with one another a bit more too. Would also like to welcome the tour group that's with us, Rhodes Scholar. Thanks so much for being with us and for being here tonight. So let's hear it for Rhodes Scholar. I'm going to share one more Gaelic song with you, and then we'll get back to some tunes. This one is G'day Maroon and Donawach. It's the MacDonald man that I love. So I guess I'm a bit biased in choosing that song, but the reason I like it so much is my wife and I sing it to our son, and so he's the MacDonald man when I'm singing it to him. And it's a sailing song. You'll hear basically the picture is a woman standing on the bank, looking out to sea, and her sweetheart is on the boat sailing, and she mentions in one of the verses that he's steering the vessel and there's snow piling up behind his fists, so it's obviously cold and wintry. And then another part, another verse. He's the vessel is loaded down with silks, and she's expecting that she'll get a good piece of silk as well when he returns. So we'll try that. Hookor and Nora Udivo, G'day Maroon and Donawach. Hookor and Nora Udivo. He me suckered a hunger fat the voam hell was he. Hookor and Nora Udivo, G'day Maroon and Donawach. Hookor and Nora Udivo. Shame a land and hack a sturig schnech, gerchua gorn and hookor and nora udivo, G'day Maroon and Donawach, or and nora udivo, Eda wook a hook a traumer varn and town a hell was he. Hookor and nora udivo, G'day Maroon and Donawach. Hookor and nora udivo. Wook a hook le shiet a lim for peace hagasa ye. Hookor and nora udivo, G'day Maroon and Donawach. Hookor and nora udivo, G'day Maroon and Donawach. Hookor and nora udivo. Happily, thank you. And there's many more verses as well. I need to learn more. So thank you very much. So I think we are going to invite Howie and Brenda back up to the stage for some more fantastic tunes. And we hope you'll enjoy. Once again, if anyone is interested in some refreshments, you can find Gail at the back of the hall. Washrooms are also back at the hall, just out the door there. And I think we're ready. Where did Brenda go?
What the hell? She went to the little girl.
Maybe I can play a tune on the piano. Why not?
Would you like to?
I'd love to.
Would you like to hear Howie play the piano?
You may not want to flap after you hear me. Probably take that down a little 10%.
Woo-hoo!
Is that loose or is it just me?
Morris and I went to play for a dance in Toronto about 35 years ago, and the guy said, they were really impressed and all that stuff. These boys are so good, they leave a lot to be desired. It was a compliment. I like
You like what?
that Star Trek thing around your neck.
I told you I'm listening to country music.
Beat me up, Winston Scott.
Beat me up, Winston. Yeah.
Live long and Wilford prosper.
Obviously, I can't play the fiddle with it on. I can't play it with it. With it or without it. How are you?
Not bad, Brenda.
You look like you're in pain.
We're always in pain at my age.
Oh my dear. I'm getting deaf. Knock the roof off, yeah. Anyway, I was telling Howie a little story coming up about this this guy was sitting in his chair watching TV, and his wife came home, and all of a sudden she walked over and she gave him a little slap on the side of the head. And he turned around and looked at her. He said, "What was that for?" She said, "Who's Susie?" He said, "Well, I was at the races last night," he said, "and I bet on this horse called Susie. I made a few dollars." He said, "I'll split it with you tomorrow." So the next night he was sitting in the chair again, and she came in and she whacked him across the back of the head again. "Holy frig," he said, "Now what did I do now?" She said, "Your horse called." On that note, I better shut up and play something.
Tough crowd.
If you see me leaning over on my knee to play, that I have to do it. I'm going to do it. And you'll have to chop my little finger off, it won't go down.
Or mine.
That was a couple of jigs of David Greenberg. We have the Walking Encyclopedia Tune Book over here, Paul Frampers. What were the names of those two, Bob? Buddy's Detour, Buddy McMaster Detour, and what is it? Oh gosh, I'm not sure either, but it's all I know. Now I could go from E flat to E minor, maybe.
Yeah.
So, if you're
E flat to.
D minor.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, Brenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I have the guitar. I could join you as well if you're up for that. Well, that's just fantastic. Big thanks to Brenda and Howie for the tunes. And I have a couple of more thank yous as well. Thank you to Stephen Gillis on sound, to Gail on refreshments, to Ryan on the live stream, and to our musicians, Cameron, Howie, and Brenda, and to yourselves as well. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. And if you're ever in the neighborhood, please stop in for a Ceilidh. We're here same time every Wednesday, year round, and also on online. You can find us. Just go to the Gaelic College Facebook page. And you'll find us on YouTube as well. So we hope to see you again soon. I'm going to hop on the guitar for the last little number. So thanks once again, and safe home.
This is a tune that Jerry Holland wrote for Jerry Jr. And Brenda recorded it on the piano, and she's going to play it on the piano, and I think Jerry backed her up on the fiddle. So that task is going to be left to me this evening. Thank you very much, boy. And Collie's going to play in on the guitar there.
Don't quit until you're done.
Don't quit till you're done.
Just trying to keep the conversation going. You can turn the old fiddle down.
Too much?
Gardner knocked her out of her chair.